So hey guys, and here we are for the last episode in the F1 Manager Minardi Manager series in Season 2. So, here we go. You know, the race before, we're going to head on into Season 3, and it's going to be a very exciting season, but I'm sure this is also going to be an exciting race, because, as I said in the last episode, this race has a lot of fun memories for us. Obviously, we briefly held the lap record with Luca Padoa last season in the old Minardi, the old spec Minardi, around this track, as we were the first ones to do a lap in practice and the first ones to do a lap in qualifying. So this has a lot of good memories for us, but it's not that, there's not that much points this race. If you look in the Drivers' Championship, Michael Schumacher's over double the amount of points ahead of second place man Mika Salo. I mean, Salo's battling for second, but it's not that important, really. And anyway, from a Team Boss perspective, you don't really care about the Drivers' Championship, you only care about the Constructors' Championship. Now, Ferrari have already won that. They won that by a landslide, even despite the fact Neil McEwen hasn't contributed that much to that points tally. But we're 8 points ahead of Williams. I think that's a good enough gap. But if Williams get second and third, which is possible, and we get no points, then they'll beat us by 2 points. Benetton could beat us, but they'd have to get a 1-2 and we not score any points. So really, I don't think Benetton are going to beat us. We just got to watch out for Williams. But I think we should be able to keep second amazingly. We've jumped up from what I believe was 8th in the Constructors to second, so that's phenomenal. Assuming we can keep that place. The only battle that's really alive still is the battle for the Team Manager of the Year, which I'm substantially ahead of Jean Todt, but these point systems on the side, they change at a rapid rate. Like, if I have a bad race this time and then Jean Todt gets a 1-2, I reckon he'll jump us. I don't really understand how this point system works, but I know it changes all the time. But anyway, we're on for the last race in the 2000 season around Malaysia, and it's going to be an interesting race because it's the last race of the season, so that's always interesting. But as well as the fact it's around the Sepang International Circuit in Malaysia, and that is a fantastic venue for F1, and it can produce a really exciting race. So let's head on into it. I'm not going to say anything, just this explains itself really. So qualifying here in Sepang for the 2000 Malaysian Grand Prix has just ended, and it's fair to say this is one of, if not the weirdest qualifying session ever in Formula 1, so let's get on to it. In first place is Michael Schumacher. It's no surprise because he has taken pole position at every other race this season, and that means he's taken 16 straight pole positions, and it also means he's taken pole position for every single race in an entire season, a feat which I believe no other driver has ever done in Formula 1, and that just caps off Michael Schumacher's dominant season. Both Minardis are second and third, and line up by Michael Schumacher for by no means the first time this season, with Mika Salo 1.3 seconds quicker than his teammate Damon Hill, and that really shows the gulf in performance between the two. The Benetton of David Coulthard is in fourth, with both Williams of Ralf Schumacher and Toru Takagi 5th and 6th, with Ralf Schumacher 5th and Takagi 6th. 7th is Jacques Villeneuve in the BAR, and 8th is Eddie Irvine in the lone Stewart to complete the session. Neil McEwen in the other Ferrari is 9th, with Laurent Redon down in 10th. Pedro Diniz is in 11th in the lone Prost to complete a lap, and Jean Lacey in the other Benetton is down in 12th, with Heinz-Harald Frentzen, the slowest driver this session, in 13th, in the lone Jordan to complete the session. Now those may seem like weird results. I mean, firstly, Jordan and Heinz-Harald Frentzen finishing last. Now that's because only 13 drivers completed laps due to all the other teams running out of some form of parts, most likely engines, as they are the most expensive and in the least supply. Obviously both ours didn't complete the session, as we know their engine situation stems back since 1999 and they haven't had engines for the past couple of races, with the Stewart of Jarno Trulli also running out of engines prior to this race, so we know about his situation as well. The surprise is that both McLarens, using Ford Zetec engines of Fisichella and Herbert, both weren't able to complete a lap in practice or qualifying. The same goes for the Prost of Ricardo Zonta, who uses a Peugeot engine, despite the fact that his teammate Diniz was able to set a lap, implying Diniz has got the last engine the team have. It's the same story for the Jordan of Bruns Barrichello, which use Ford Zetec engines, and then the other two drivers are Alessandro Zanardi and Alexander Wirtz in both Saubers, which use Petronas engines. So weirdly, despite the fact that Ferrari didn't run out of engines last season, somehow Sauber have run out of Petronas engines this season, and frankly, this is a disgrace to the sport, and how only 13 cars were able to complete qualifying, let alone the race. We're going to have one of the weirdest starts in Formula 1 we've ever seen. So hey guys, and here we are for the pre-race screen, obviously the race strategy which I've sorted out. And one thing I want to note is how, obviously, we used our last 4th model engine at the last race, and the last 3rd model engine at the last race. We actually completed practice and qualifying on those 4th and 3rd model engines, but unfortunately, that's the supply gone. So we're actually going to be quite a bit slower in the race than we were in practice and qualifying, so that's a bit worrying. Normally it's the other way round. Plus also, in terms of the side pods and suspensions, while Neil Oatley designed 5 models, they were designed a bit too late because Mike Gascoigne just physically cannot manufacture 4 in time. So we didn't complete any laps on these side pods and suspensions, and I'm sure they're amazing, but we just can't put them on without knowing the ideal setup for those parts. So both cars are going to have, they won't be able to use the best side pods and suspensions, and they're going to have downgrades in engine performance. Of course, and they changed that engine to a 2nd model. And it's the same story for Mika Salo. Both drivers are in the same position. Mika Salo is using a slightly worn chassis. I don't quite understand that and what effect that has. I don't think it has any. Definitely not in pace, it doesn't. But what kind of a qualifying session is this, and what kind of a season is this where only 13 cars can complete the last qualifying session of the season? 9 cars didn't set a lap. That completely overshadows Michael Schumacher and his record of 16 straight pole positions and getting pole at every race this season. Completely overshadows it, but it does show Michael Schumacher's dominance in qualifying to get pole 16 straight races in every race this season. To be fair, it does show that, but let's just stop talking about it. Let's just get on to the race, because this is going to be, I think, the biggest joke ever. Let's just put both of our drivers on push, and the carnage ensue. So both our drivers are 2nd and 3rd. That's all we've really got to focus about as Minardi team manager. That's all I've got to worry about. Michael Schumacher has got off to an amazing launch. There's Jean Lacey, quite a way down the field. I qualified in 12th, but he was quite slow, considering he was the 2nd slowest, I believe, or 3rd slowest, about that. Oh no, but both McLarens are coming up. Both McLarens, no, the McLaren's gone off. Okay, I thought the McLaren was just going to scythe its way and just T-bone someone, but not the case. It's not even good. No, there's the replay. There we go. Look at that McLaren that's out of position. I think that's Fisichella that's just... No, that is Johnny Herbert, actually. Johnny Herbert is very clever. No, that is Fisichella who's out. Fisichella's very clever at the start, but Johnny Herbert just slid off track. Okay, I know I hinted about this in the channel update video and in a comment reply to someone in the last episode. I did hint this is going to be an exciting race. I'll be amazed if anyone, unless they played the game before, predicted this, but I've done an entire series of Minardi before. Like, I have taken Minardi to win the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. I had Jacques, Villeneuve and Heinz-Harald Frentzen as my drivers, okay? I did 3 seasons. I don't remember this ever happening. Then again, last episode we saw Della Rosa roll over, and I've never seen that before, so this game always throws up surprises. Speaking of which, will he roll over again? Come on. Come on, Della Rosa, you could do it. No. It's like he's driving on ice. Either that or he's pulled the handbrake, but it's not even a handbrake in F1 cars, so... don't know what that's all that. Pedro Diniz! Oh no, don't tell me he's gone out as well. Does that mean there'll only be 12 runners? Because obviously Zonta didn't complete a lap in qualifying. Don't tell me Diniz is going out. No, he was just thinking about making an overtake on the BAR of Laurent Redon. Redon, in his rookie season, might do well actually. This race, since there's so few runners. Ricardo Zonta, that would, yeah, that is quite a scary place to lose the car actually. High speed turn 3, I think that is. That is a scary place to lose the car. Heinz-Harald Frentzen, of course he's still in it. Barrichello isn't. Speaking of which, he'll be out right now. Barrichello. Go lock up, is he? No, how did he go out? Whoa! Okay, what's that? 360? 360 retirement. I like it. That was a nice way to retire, Barrichello. You got my respect for that. And obviously you saw in the intro that I had to replace Johnny Herbert with, well, the McLaren of Johnny Herbert with the Stewart of Eddie Irvine. Bloody hell! That was a terrifying retirement for Diniz. No, that was Diniz! Diniz, of course. Oh no, there's a Sauber off. Marc Genet is doing well. Marc Genet is in 14th. Go on, my son. You can do this. That was Zanardi. He's had a shocking season this season. Well, and last season, in fact. But Zanardi goes straight off. But that retirement for Diniz. Diniz actually qualified. That means his engine's gone in the race within a few corners. That's quite dramatic, actually. So he's off. Zanardi's out. Genet in 13th. Come on, Genet. You could do this. You know you want to, Genet. You know you want to, and there's a Stewart that's gone off behind you. That would be Jarno Trulli. There you go. Look at Genet. It's like Moses just parting the waters, except he just... every car that goes near him just goes out. Marc Genet, you've never done so well. You did quite well when he was with us last season. Into the tyre barrier. God, that must be quite a bad crash for Trulli. Genet's off! Oh, Genet, you were doing so well. Of course, he did quite well for us when he drove for us. He did have some moments. He was actually quite unlucky, and Padot got 4 points. To be fair, some of those could have been Genet. Imola stands to mind, but of course, Genet could well have got 5th actually if he didn't retire. Eddie Irvine's out. Is he out actually, or has he just overtaken those cars? No, Eddie Irvine's out. Both Stewarts are out of the race then.
And now we're on board with the Stewart.
Okay, so we've lost all the cars we knew about, plus Diniz and Irvine. So that stands to reason. I believe that there's only 11 cars left running. It said 12. No, there's Wirtz. There you go. Wirtz was just a late retirement. He almost completed a lap, actually. Yeah, he's on the final sector, actually. How does he go? Yep. Just... well, there's the Benetton Sports System. You see, Benetton Sports System should have kept sponsoring Benetton, not Sauber, because look where Sauber are, in the gravel. Laurent Redon's in 9th. Fantastic, and this is going to be a weird race with only 11 cars left running. Anyway, as I was saying... wow, look at that retirement list. As I was saying, actually, in that intro at the start, we had to replace the McLaren of Johnny Herbert with Irvine because we couldn't get footage of Johnny Herbert in the McLaren. So we had to replace him with Irvine. That's fine because Irvine, I see Irvine as a British driver. I see him as... he's one of the ones I would have supported if I watched F1 at the time because I support the British drivers and in my eyes he is, even though he's Irish. And we had to replace... who else do we have to replace? Of course, we had to replace McLaren and Jordan, but of course McLaren was replaced by Stewart, but Stewart were always in the intro. That means BAR and Prost got their first shot of being in the intro. So, congrats to BAR and Prost. I'll actually show that intro again come the end of the race. Maybe, or I might... yeah, I'll show the intro again at the end of the race because now you know the backstory to that intro. We couldn't physically get footage of McLaren or Jordan. I think that intro is worth another watch. Actually, I'll put it up now. So yeah, that really was... The backstory to this race alone is dramatic. But let's just carry on. Michael Schumacher's in first. We could get a 1-2 if Schumacher retires. And genuinely, since we seem to be going faster than Coulthard and Schumacher, Ralf Schumacher, genuinely, if Michael Schumacher retires, I'm going to enforce team orders and tell Mika Salo to slow down and let Damon Hill through. Because Damon Hill, I feel really sorry for. I mean, he's got a podium with us. He got third place in Belgium, I believe. But obviously he lost second place at Monza. And I do feel quite sorry for him. Damon Hill's out with a fuel issue. Don't tell me I miscalculated the fuel. I might have done. If Salo goes out now... You're kidding. I calculated the fuel out myself. I took the... I know what it must be. I know what it must be. I took Mike Gascoigne's fuel figures and then recalculated it myself. Obviously, the average fuel usage of 2.18 litres a lap. I rounded up to 2.2 litres a lap. The problem is what I forgot about is how the fourth model of engine, not only is it more powerful, it's also more fuel efficient. So I should have actually listened to Mike Gascoigne and kept in that excess fuel. Because the second model is less fuel efficient. But we never ran with it in qualifying because I wanted a good qualifying result. We screwed over there. If Michael Schumacher retires, I'm not going to be happy because we've lost out on points. Williams could jump us actually in the constructors. I said if they get second and third and we don't get any points, they'll jump us. It's looking like they might do actually. But anyway, along with all of this, Redon's out of an engine failure. Yep, Jean Lacey's in 8th, okay. It's been quite a boring race aside. Michael Schumacher's out of an engine failure. We could have gotten Minardi 1-2. So Ford Zetec has screwed us over in Malaysia, and then the suspension screwed us over in Italy. It's going to have to be until season 3. But I cannot apologise enough to Mika Salo and Damon Hill. Entirely my fault, I agree. I do feel sorry for Damon Hill. He did get a podium with us. And Mika Salo has been a fantastic driver for us. He deserves not to be screwed over, to be honest. Both drivers have done really well this season. Damon Hill's done well considering we delayed his retirement. He's done fantastically. Definitely a deserved world champion. Mika Salo, with this performance, is a deserving world champion. But David Coulthard, we know how the story of Minardi ends. Obviously with Salo and Hill out. And both drivers have done well for us, genuinely. But it's going to start well. But with David Coulthard winning the Malaysian Grand Prix, it shows that Minardi, we have got a positive future next race. I think Williams have jumped us in the constructors actually, with Takagi getting third. And Neil McEwen out of a suspension failure, and Jean Lacey out of a driver error. So I think only 5 cars finished. David Coulthard first, Ralf Schumacher second, Takagi third, Villeneuve fourth, Heinz-Harald Frentzen fifth. And I think that means Williams, right at the death, have jumped us in the constructors. And I think Ralf Schumacher's beaten Salo in the drivers. Well, what a crazy, crazy race. I think I've said everything I already want to say. Let's just... David Coulthard won by 4 seconds. But David Coulthard winning, that's the second race he's won this season. He won Spain as well, I believe. So, we got a positive future for Minardi. Benetton win in Malaysia. I think, yeah, Rocco Benetton's going to be happy. But of course, with Minardi and Ferrari both having a double retirement, I don't know what that's done to the manager rating. No problems with the cars. Well, I can tell you the problem, the lack of fuel put in. Which, whenever too much fuel's been put in, it's been Mike Gascoigne's fault. Whenever too little fuel's been put in, it's been my fault. I just forgot about the engine. And that's how the tech races ended. It's been basically won by Ferrari. Yeah, the only things we have the most advanced of are the suppliers parts, the parts we buy in, the brakes, electronics and engine. Ferrari completely dominated the tech race, actually. You think Jordan might have with Rory Byrne, but apparently not. No one was impressed by performance at Malaysia, that's fair enough. Could have got a 1-2. But that's how F1 is. That's how F1 is sometimes. So Drivers' Championship. Wow, Michael Schumacher in first, obviously, but David Coulthard, our future driver, thanks to that win, he's actually jumped us. He's now second in the Drivers' Championship. Ralf Schumacher third. Heinz-Harald is in fourth. Johnny Herbert fifth in the constructors, level with Damon Hill. I think Damon Hill can leave happy with that. That Damon Hill level with Johnny Herbert. I think we can leave happy with that. That in the McLaren, he's levelled Johnny Herbert in the McLaren. That's good to see. Brits next to each other, as well as David Coulthard being the best of the rest. David Coulthard was the true best of the rest, wasn't he? I always thought Ralf Schumacher was the best of the rest, and in terms of pace, I still think he was, but Coulthard won in the constructors, no, in the drivers' standings, and Heinz-Harald, well, Heinz-Harald had 2 wins. I don't know if Ralf Schumacher ever had that, but Coulthard's had 2 wins as well. I don't know, but Constructors' Championship, Williams did indeed jump us right at the end by 2 points. That's really unfortunate, actually. But we're still in third. We jumped from 8th to 3rd in a season. That's fantastic. Beaten McLaren, beaten Jordan, beaten Benetton, beaten Stewart, beaten BAR. Look at all these teams we've beaten. And Sauber, and, well, Prost we already were ahead of. And Arrows, I think we were ahead of Sauber last season anyway. Well. Well. There you go. Manager rating. Sean Todd wins Manager of the Year. That is fair enough. He's created a dominant car. So, I don't even win one of the 3 championships I want to win this series. We're going to have to try and win all 3 of them next season. But Sean Todd, Manager of the Year. That's made a change from Paul Stewart, who was Manager of the Year last year. He's now the 2nd worst manager. But Sean Todd, Manager of the Year. I'm 2nd, Frank Williams 3rd, Rocco Benetton 4th, Craig Pollock 5th, Alan Prost 6th, Peter Sauber 7th, Tom Walkinshaw, come on, Arrows didn't score any points this season. How can he be ahead of Eddie Jordan? Come on, Jordan got a 1-2, no, a 2-3 in Imola. But anyway, I'll say goodbyes to all of our guys in a minute, but we've got to clear up some remaining news from this series. So let's see, you know, the last bits of news, the last confirmations we need. Let's see them come in. Okay, so here's what we've done. We got Champion. I don't know who Champion are or what they sell, but we've got Champion written on the car. So hopefully Minardi can become champions with the Champion sponsor on the car. That's the only reason why. I would get Winner F1, but we don't have enough sponsorship on the car, because Winner F1 aren't contracted to anyone. Prost don't want them anymore. Or more like they probably don't want to sponsor Prost anymore. But if I could get rid of Red Bull and have Winner F1 on the car, I would, but you can't just pull the plug on a sponsorship contract, unfortunately. But I'm going to try and see if I can get another sponsor to fill up that last gap there. Because I could give it to Champion, I suppose, but again, gotta be sensible with the ad space. Whoa. Okay, I was about to skip through this with PlayStation and Frezzo being committed to us, but BAR confirms Owain Green as their test driver. So Owain Green, an EA employee who started off this series being rated the joint worst driver you could get. We picked him up, used him as our test driver just to reduce costs, and now look, he's joined BAR. 11 grand as well. I think that's how much we paid him as well. So Owain Green is still going to be an F1 driver. That's quite weird to think, actually. That does mean, though, if he's not going to be Ferrari's test driver, who is? Yes, AGIP will sponsor us, thank God. Okay, so that last 70 grand has now been taken up. Yes, so now the car looks the same as it did before at the Malaysian Grand Prix, but next season it's going to look a bit different, because instead of the PlayStation logo there, I can't remember what was there actually, it might have been the PlayStation logo as well, but we got the Champion logo there and the AGIP sponsor logo there. That's You got PlayStation, Red Bull. I mean, what more do you want in life than PlayStation and Red Bull? But we've also got Italian Oil, and I think they sponsor Ferrari in their heyday, and Champion, which is hopefully what we'll be in a year's time. Oh, Neolotely, bless you for working so hard, developing the 7th model of front wings and rear wings. I'm sure they're amazing, but there's no point. The season's ended, and the slate gets wiped clean at the start of a new season, but that just shows how great of a designer Neolotely is. He's been working so hard. 7th model. That's phenomenal. The 7th model, that's such an improvement over the start of the year. It's just a shame we can't use it though. Again, Neolotely, the same thing applies. 7th model of barge boards, we won't be able to use them. But again, just shows what a phenomenal designer you are, but just stop, please. Whoa! Okay, out of nowhere we had no news, and now we got loads. Look at all of this. Ferrari confirms Takagi as their test driver. So obviously Takagi, I signed him as my test driver, then he did so poorly at the San Marino Grand Prix, I scrapped him. But now look, he's going to Ferrari, so he's gone from Arrows driver 2 to Williams driver 1 to Ferrari test driver. That's pretty good career progression, actually. I mean, it's a slight downgrade from where he is now, but that's wow. So Takagi won't be dropping out of the sport. He's still going to be knocking around, and I'm kind of happy. I would have been sad if he went, but he's still going to be kicking around in the sport, so that's a good thing. I've been sad if he went. Same with Ferrari. They're going to be keeping Adrian Newey as their technical director. Oh, the irony behind that, but they had him this year, and look how dominant Ferrari were, so obviously we've got Ross Brawn. I don't know who Ross Brawn was at this year, but we've got Ross Brawn for next year. Jordan confirms Pat Simmons as their technical director. That's a strong signing for Jordan, actually. That just makes Jordan more of a threat for next year. Great. So they don't want Mike Gascoigne back. I don't know if Mike Gascoigne signed for anyone. But still, he's not going back to Jordan. I don't know if he's going anywhere. He might be going to Stewart, actually, because Stewart have taken both of our drivers. And Williams confirm Bernard Duo as their technical director. So I think that's all the gaps cleared up now. I think that's everything. Bernard Duo, I think he was Prost technical director. Now he's gone to Williams. So again, that's another good career progression for him. And I think that should be everything. All of these emails I can't be bothered to read. But I think that should be all the news, bar sponsor news, till the end of the season. Okay, so here we are, the end of the season, and we've got all of these emails I can't be bothered to read, all these weekly reports. Apparently, Stefano Domenicali, Neolotely, and Mike Gascoigne all sent me emails on Christmas Day. I don't know why they were working on Christmas, or felt the need to send me an email, but they did. But yeah, let's just go over our team. So Neolotely, been a fantastic designer, and while I really loved Gabriel Chiedosi, Neolotely has been so much better, and we haven't even got his chassis, which obviously his chassis is rated 100. We haven't even got his chassis next year, and he's already been amazing. He's already improved our team so much with designing new parts over the course of the season, and even after the season, so he has been instrumental to our team's improvement. Mike Gascoigne. A bit of controversy surrounding him, with him overfueling the car, and then all the suspension failure we've had in the past few races, implying he's either rubbish or he's trying to sabotage us. I don't know which, but there's been a bit of controversy around him, but still, I like the guy, and he did... Was he improvement over Gustav Brunner? I don't know, it's difficult to say, but Mike Gascoigne, you were still welcome on the team, and I'm not sad you're leaving, but you did well for us, and, well, good luck in your future, mate, because obviously next year we've got Ross Brawn. In my eyes, one of the true greats of Formula 1, Ross Brawn is just... he's got to be one of the best people ever in Formula 1, Ross Brawn. Just... I can't really, I don't really know what to say, but obviously think about it, he had Ferrari won, Brawn won. Everywhere he's been, he's won at. And Benetton, obviously. And look at his assembly skill, which is higher than Mike Gascoigne's. And really, we need Mike Gascoigne. That was part of the problem, although it was only because Neil Oakley was so good at designing new parts. But Mike Gascoigne struggled to manufacture the new models in time for the race. Hopefully, Ross Brawn can do that, because I did sign Adrian Newey, but Adrian Newey wasn't. It was his supply skill that was good, and I think the supply skill is pointless, and we need a good assembly skill. That's why I've got Ross Brawn. Stefano Domenicali, I don't know how much better you were than Massimo Cusimano, because Massimo Cusimano didn't put a foot wrong. But at the end of the day, we're stinking rich because of you. We've actually lost quite a bit of money over the past few months, where we've had to pay bills, expensive bills as well, and not earn anything. But I don't know how much better you were than Massimo Cusimano, but still, you're a great guy, and I really appreciate your help. So cheers. Damon Hill. Damon Hill. No, I do feel sorry for Damon Hill, to be honest, because he was quite unlucky. Sure, he wasn't as good as Mika Salo. We all know that. He definitely wasn't as good as Mika Salo, and we did delay his retirement, because obviously he shouldn't be racing in 2000, but he beat Salo in the track which is most dependent on driver skill. He beat Mika Salo, Monaco. He beat Mika Salo there. So, Damon Hill really does have class. Obviously in Belgium he beat Mika Salo. He got 3rd place there, so Damon Hill was definitely a good driver, definitely. Got a podium with us, which is always good. Fortunately lost 2nd place at Monza and here. It would have been 1st if we were running 1-2 and Michael Schumacher retired. Well, he did retire. If we were running 1-2, I would have told Mika Salo to let Damon Hill through. Fortunately, Mercedes-Benz slightly screwed us over there, unfortunately, but it was Mike Gascoigne should have told me about this, and Mercedes should have told me about this, but at the end of the day, I made the decision. It's my fault. I put my hands up for that Malaysian Grand Prix incident. Driver 2, Mika Salo, deserving world champion. Shame he couldn't win it with us, and genuinely, if I knew he was this good, I would have kept him for next year. I wouldn't have signed Damon Hill. No, not Damon Hill. I wouldn't have signed David Coulthard if I knew Mika Salo was going to be this good. But he's going off to Stewart with Damon Hill. Now, that's good. I really hope Stewart do well, purely so then the old team, you know, Mika Salo and Damon Hill, they can join together and do amazing things. If Damon Hill wins in a Stewart, I'll be over the moon, because Damon Hill needs a win with either us or with Stewart. And Mika Salo did well for us. Obviously, 1 in Imola, 1 in Italy, many other podiums. For most of the season, outshone Damon Hill, and what a really, really top driver. Test driver, Owen Green. Well, what can I say? We used him once in pre-season test, but considering he was rated the worst driver you can get, and he's an EA employee and never drove an F1 car before, came 4th in pre-season test, only behind Luciano Berti, you know, who later became an F1 race driver, and Olivier Panis-Padoa. He finished just behind those 3 and ahead of everyone else. So, Owen Green did really, really well, considering his lack of experience. 4th in the test day, phenomenal. But obviously next year, we've already discussed Ross Brawn, going to be amazing, but we got Mika Häkkinen, the 99 world champion, and one of the few people who won pace is quicker than Michael Schumacher. And we've seen Michael Schumacher's dominance. We need to stop that. We need to stop the Schumacher dominance running for years to come. We need to stop that now, and Häkkinen, I know, is one of the few guys who can do that. David Coulthard, again, one of the few people who has proven this series to be quicker than Michael Schumacher. I think the only other driver who's proven to be quicker than him is Eddie Irvine. Eddie Irvine beat him on occasion last season. So we got 2 of the 3 drivers who we know on occasion can be quicker than Michael Schumacher, and we need to stop his dominance and the Ferrari's dominance. These are the 2 people who I know should be able to do that. Test driver Luca Badoa deserves a spot with a top team. Deserves he deserves something. Such a screwed over and unlucky driver. Did fantastically with us. 4 points in 99. And he's tested the Ferrari all season long. He knows how good that Ferrari is. And really, he's the person who can perfect next year's Minardi to be as good as this year's Ferrari. And he's useful for that reason alone, as well as the fact I genuinely feel sorry for him. And he needs to be at the top team. I mean, Ferrari replaced him with Takagi, so... Then again, we did sign Byrne before they signed Takagi. So... There you go. That's... Massive thanks to all the guys here. Everyone did a top job. The suppliers as well. Mercedes-Benz, apart from that little blip in Malaysia where they didn't tell us... Well, they didn't remind us about the fuel usage. Neither did Mike Gascoigne. It was a three-way problem, which I will partially blame on myself. But Mercedes should remind us. But aside from that, top team helped us to nearly win in Hockenheim and winning. Damn, they get a 1-2 in Italy. So that shows us the performance advantage they've given us. Electronics, Magneti, Marelli, been with us since the start, and they were great back then. They're great now. And same for the brakes. I don't remember having a brake failure ever from AP Racing. So, top job they've done for us as well. And it's been a very interesting season with some interesting results. But really, 2001 is where I reckon Minardi can take off. And I hope, honestly, it's going to be an amazing season. But before that, I'll have the Season 2 montage up, where we go over the highs and the lows of this season, so be sure to watch the Season 2 montage when that comes up next week, and the Season 1 montage if you can't remember it and want to live over Season 1 again. But after that, we'll head on to Season 3. So let's go on to it right now.